Now comes the part where you want to prepare the questions that you're going to ask for your informational interview. When you have your questions prepared, I'd like to just start off by saying it is much more professional to bring a pad of paper and a pencil and have things written out that you can talk to, if possible, memorize them, but you want to be able to write down versus typing away on your computer, or even worse, trying to type away on your phone so that you can remember everything. It is not as professional because when you're writing down on a pad and paper, it's assumed that you are taking notes related to this. When you are sometimes on your computer, it's like, oh, could something pop up? Have you muted everything on your computer? You'd hate for some kind of ding or some kind of crash to happen. Pencil and paper, old-fashioned, is my recommended way to go ahead and do this. So when you're deciding on your questions that you want to ask, it's really going to depend on the research that you've done. So if you've learned quite a bit about their background, you might want to have some obvious questions that are gaps there. If you're pivoting into their career field and you have no idea what some of the specifics are, you're going to want to focus your questions there. Again, because you only have 15 to 20 minutes, the first question you're going to always ask is, can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in your field? Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in this industry? Or how did you rise up to the role that you currently have? It's always going to be the first question that you ask. Then you're going to have a list of several other questions. So you need to be flexible here. Again, remembering if you only have 15 to 20 minutes that you've stated, now maybe they're going to go long. Maybe they're going to go 30 to 45 minutes. Be prepared, because that would be fantastic. But if not, you want to respect their time. So if they are talking over here and you have questions over here, you might need to transition, and you might need to be able to be prepared to go down this avenue a little bit more. Be flexible with your questions. Have understood in your mind what you've already presented to them. So when you first ask them, hey, I'd like to get together, kind of learn a little bit more about you, and you talked about those 2 to 3 things, make sure and follow up on those. But be flexible with the questions you have. Make sure you've done your research so that you don't have to ask questions that have already either been answered, you could have found out in your research, or are questions that really just don't pertain to their field. A couple of examples are, how do you see the industry changing in the next few years? In the next 1 to 3 years, what critical skills do you see as being needed in this field? Or in the last 1 to 3 years, or in the last 5 years, your last role, what did you see as being the critical thing you did to prepare you for where you are today? Some things like that where you're looking back as well as you're looking forward. Another great question is, when you look at the future of this industry, what do you see technologically as being important for me to learn and me to understand? You cannot overlook also the people side. Most people that you'll be talking to will probably be in some kind of supervisory role, which means that they're interacting with people. Talk about their role in that respect as well. I see from your LinkedIn page, I see from the website that you currently are overseeing about 20 people. If I was to transition into this field, what would you recommend I do to start preparing today so that I'm prepared to supervise and oversee people in the next role that I have? Make sure that you're balancing the technical side with the emotional intelligence and the management of people side.